Okay, so I'm doing a part 2 because this is such an important set of instructions for human beings to prosper. And we're talking about choosing the right profession as early and as wisely and as soon as possible. Because now, you see, it's as if, and it actually is the case though, that the level of, shall we say, prosperity, even what we could classify as like financial wealth that a person acquires in life, yeah, it really is based on, well, first of all, it's based on divine blessing, and it's also based on being prudent, right? And also being, basically employed or working in the proper profession that you have the, like the gifts and the talents and the blessings to be prosperous in, where you can basically use all your faculties and what you're good at. And it really, it's something that you are very, very good at by your very nature. Okay. This is easily identifiable for everyone based on your birthday. There's a book called Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life. Okay, get a copy of this book. Look up your soul personality based on your birthday. Read it and reflect on it, and choose the profession or the apprenticeship or the college degree or the university, whatever it is, based on the best information available about your soul personality and how and what you are basically like gifted to really be prosperous in terms of work. That will make a massive positive difference in life. And it's something that I'm doing right now too. Because look, here's the thing, and this is a fact. There really is about like kind of sort of 3-4 different things that people are good at generally. And of those 3 or 4 things, sort of roughly, there's about one particular general area of activity and one particular profession sort of in a certain area of activity of earth, human, and life activity that a person really, really can prosper in. Now, the sooner and the earlier you choose this, what I'm doing now is I'm just optimizing everything as much as I can, because I'm 38 now. I can still change things and be prudent and prosper, and I do. Yet, if you could make this choice now, right, when you're, younger, you would be more prosperous a lot faster than if you had to make it at age 38. But see, that's a very, very like a magnificent subject matter to investigate now, because we know that at about age 32, toward the end of age 32 and in the 33rd year of a person's life, enlightenment basically gradually and then ultimately happens. So then how are you supposed to be able to make the wisest decisions? Like, if you're going to think about, the next 144 years, right? Or the next 100 years of your life at age, 20, the way you think, the way you look at it, your outlook, your entire existence is so much different from when you've been enlightened in your age 35, right? And you're fully matured, like both, say physically and spiritually as much as possible. In other words, there's a peak point in the life of a human being when one becomes like really enlightened and also has matured to a certain point. And then one begins to live life with like the maximum potential operational capability and just the fullest program available, so to say. In comparison, you could look at it like you've got little trees that are saplings and they're growing up, yeah, and they have a good future, yet this other tree right next to them that is already, bearing fruits and so on, it's like those are two very different states, and what one can accomplish and what one is capable of and so on and so forth, and all this stuff, is very different based on the level of maturity. This is like the difference between having somebody who is a master at something and somebody who's looking at it through a shop window. Both are totally, justified in terms of there's a time and a place for everything on earth and under heaven, yet they're just two very different states of existence. And there's good time and all in due season, right? Yet really it is highly recommended that parents prudently advise their children as early as possible and as much as possible, and also guide them to choose the right profession as soon as possible, because that way all of your effort will basically already be going into the right career, where what will happen is automatically you will excel more than in other things, because what you're doing is what you are basically designed to do, and it's easy for you and it's fun too. In my case, I'm going to share with you for a second. In my case, it actually should have been something like actually what I am right now, yet also a lawyer. That's what I should have gotten in terms of an education. Now, I can still do this, but the thing is, it's very, very complex and there's a lot of bureaucracy involved. But so just that sort of a occupation would be ideal, actually. It would be so good. Now, what if I had gone and specialized in this field when I was, gone into this field, got trained at like age 18, and then through my 20s, specialized and mastered whatever it was. Well, listen, that's a great idea, but like I said earlier, listen, the entire way that the educational system works, my friends, okay? Like, to think that you can expect a human being who is like maybe 18 to actually sort of choose and to think ahead so far so that they can then also even choose something where they're going to spend, a couple of years learning this and then a couple of years doing this and gain a certain level of proficiency and so on. Like, this has to be improved, okay? There are improvements that have to be made to how the educational system, the career choice, and things like that are made, because look, you cannot honestly expect. It's like going out and there are trees, right? Here's a little tiny tree that just sprung up like 3 years ago. It's not even got pine cones on it yet, okay? And this is like an old growth, super healthy, strong tree of 100+ years, and it's dropping pine cones every day, and there's hundreds of trees growing from these pine cones. It's like massive, mega, that's it. This is it. This thing is fully matured, and it's reproducing. It's just, this is like the mega, this is it, right? You've reached the point of maximum capacity, and you're going strong, right? There's worlds of difference. So what has to happen is young people, right? Their parents, actually, your parents, all peoples, although all peoples can do this too, remember, it's still time. There's still good time for all of us. But listen, especially young people. So actually the parents have to guide young people to choose the right profession and the right career choices as early as possible and as wisely and prudently as possible. Because then what will happen is what you will actually, like, look, if I would have gone to school to become a lawyer when I was like 18, I could have, it would have been possible, but it would have had to have gotten, that would have had to get gotten started, that would have had to have gotten started like when I was 16, because I would have had to finish high school like this and then go to college like this. It would have been possible. But I had no, how would I know? Like, how could I know except for that my dad said, you know, lawyer, that's a good profession for you. Well, I took to heart what my dad said, but I wasn't interested in something like that at the time when I was 17, 18, okay? It's a totally different world. Remember, the differences in perspective and maturity, right? So what has to happen, though, is perhaps I can do that in the future. I can do that the best way. You really got to make sure that you choose the profession that's ideal for you as early as possible. If you do this, all of your effort really will lead to generally the best possible results, and you'll be the most prosperous, even financially, in the long term. Now that too is, all of this hinges upon being prudent a little bit all the time. Okay. Now, basically, if you see this video, you should look up the book that I recommended, check and see what your birthday is, and check your soul personality in the book, and then begin to adjust your life and your decision-making processes with wisdom, and you will see everything improving massively, very rapidly. And this thing, what we're talking about is self-mastery. All right, and that's a skill. Wow, that's the thing. Wow, that is the skill of skills, my friends. Okay, so there's an example from ancient times, and it's from somewhere in the book. If I recall correctly, an officer in the British Navy had to be able to like map out the tides as part of like the qualifications to become an officer. Okay, so we all have to be able, to master our life and our destiny. Okay, and this is by practically applying wisdom in our lives. So all of life is cyclical. Every one of us has a unique life cycle based on our birthday. Okay, start figuring this out and start learning the most important skill that there is. This is more important than doctors. This is more important than presidents. This is more important than what seems to be important. The reason I say that is because this discipline is like having actual, real command over and the ability to determine what happens with your life, because you're the one living it, you're the one making decisions, and you can basically choose wisely. There are levels to this, right? And the results are very good. And vice versa, and the opposite too, and we see enough examples of that, okay? Now, the potential has been given since the beginning of creation for everything in the universe, even everybody's life, to actually be perfect. The potential is there and it's accessible. Basically, it hinges upon us making our God-given free will intelligently obedient to some divine guidance, instruction, and wisdom, okay? So now, very, very simply put, what's even more important, my friends, because how do I even know what profession I should choose so that I'm the most prosperous in my life? It's by the knowledge and the wisdom gained as part of the practice and the study and the application of self-mastery and the cycles of life. So the most important thing is you become a master of your life and your destiny. That's actually even more important than what profession you choose. Because most of the time, look, most people most of the time will be looking at like the most important thing is a career choice. Well, that's not the most important thing. It's a very important thing, but there's one more important thing, is that you learn self-mastery, become a master of your life and your destiny. And I have enough videos by now on this channel. In fact, we've been on this subject for like, it must be about 2 to 3 years now. We've really been on this subject matter so much that there's enough resources on this channel right now so that you can become a master of your life and your destiny. Just look through the videos I have. I have enough of them. And it's, take your time, be wise and prudent, also be patient, and remember to enjoy and have fun, because it's really interesting and it's beautiful to investigate the absolute mysteries of life and to have them revealed to you and to increasingly know everything there is to know about life and how to accomplish the best things that lead to the best things happening for us and everybody and all of God's creatures and everything, being brought into the best possible state and being maintained thus. And so that the overall destiny of all of this, right, is the best one. Okay, that's part of the objective, yeah? And interestingly enough, that is all decided and determined by every one of us every day, every step of the way. Everything I do right now, even if I, like I'm walking here, right? The way I walk here is going to determine what's going to happen in my future. Why? Because there's a time